The guest of honor who will deliver convocation address will be introduced by Professor Tilak Fonseca, Senior Faculty, Postgraduate Institute of Management.
Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of the University of Sri Lalith, Director PIM, Managing Director of the PIM International Center, distinguished academics, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasant task to introduce to this audience Mr. Lalith Weerathunga, who will be delivering the convocation address shortly. Mr. Lalith Weerathunga, known to his many friends as Lalith, hails from the village of Madia in Matha district. He had his primary schooling at Rahul College, Matha, and from grade 6 onwards at Royal College, Colombo. And then he gained admission to the BSc program at the Colombo University, 1969 to 1972. And after a short stint in the private sector, he joined the Sri Lanka Administrative Service in January 1977. And during a long and illustrious career spanning over 3 decades, he has held several key positions, serving successive regimes, working under several political masters. Now, what is the secret of success? First, Lalith is passionate about reforms in the public sector. He has done so much to re-engineer the government. His initiatives in the sphere of e-governance and distance education program for public servants. He knows his management theory very well. Besides the BSc, he holds an MBA and is also a fellow of the Hubert Humphrey Foundation of the University of Pennsylvania, USA. Lalith knows very well that in the world there are only 2 sets of countries, not rich countries and poor countries, only countries which are well managed and countries which are poorly managed. I leave it to the audience to place Sri Lanka in whatever category you like. Second, he is passionate about results. Unlike most public servants who wait for things to happen, he wants to make things happen. He is methodical, well organized, and has a great network of contacts through which he is able to get a lot of things done. And his superiors keep on piling more work on him. Doesn't matter, because the superiors find that they can have trust and confidence in Lalith to deliver their results. Thirdly, he is extremely energetic. Unlike most public servants, he displays a boundless enthusiasm, a youthful exuberance which belies his age. You find it in his brisk walk, quite different from the movements of ordinary public servants. Most public servants might be pole vaulters who try to clear the bar, but they don't clear the bar and they fall on the same spot. Fourth, he is a voracious reader. unlike other public servants who have no time for reading, Lalith is an avid reader. He keeps abreast of global and local developments. Unfortunately, most other public servants don't do that. And unfortunately for them, for that category, the world does not stay still. The world keeps moving and they stay behind. Fifthly, Lalith's PR skills, unmatched. I don't know how he has been able to do that. But I surmise, product of Royal College, Colombo, person from Matara district, rural Matara, obviously he must be a hosteler and he has to somehow live with Sinhalese students, Tamil students, Muslims, Malays, Buddhists, Christians, adherents of Islam. He has to manage, and he has to manage the relations in the political jungle as well. So that is the foundation. And sixth, his excellent communication skills, both oral and written, and fluency in Sinhala and Tamil. Equally fluent, the facility of expression, all that is there in Lalith. And finally, the humility of this person. He has never forgotten his friends and acquaintances. And it is this extraordinary public servant who will be delivering the convocation address to you today. Endowed with these 7 attributes I place before you, and the developed, acquired skills and competencies. It is this individual who will make the address to you today, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Mr. Lalith Weerathunga. Thank you.
Venerable Chancellor of the University of Sri Weerathunga, the Acting Vice Chancellor, Director of the Postgraduate Institute of Management, Managing Director, PIM International, members of the Board of Management, distinguished academics, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you today feeling privileged and honored when a large number of graduates have been conferred with their respective degrees and are celebrating academic success after years of extremely hard work. Let me at the outset warmly congratulate the new graduates for their academic success and wish the very best in all their endeavors. Postgraduate Institute of Management is an educational institution that has set a standard and a class of its own. I have seen many excellent institutions, and I have no hesitation to say that the PIM stands tall among the best in the trade. It's a signal honor, therefore, bestowed on me to be invited by such an institution to address its convocation, because from its very beginning, it has been independent and making choices based on strict criteria. I have been associated with this great institution and have seen how it became what it is today. Creating something extraordinary is no easy task. Let me recall the famous author Stephen Covey and his much discussed 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where he argues that most effective people in the world begin with the end in mind. Undoubtedly, PIM's founding director, Professor Gunapal Nanakkara, had the end in mind, building the PIM from nothing and from scratch. Professor Nanayakkara, small in physique, tall and huge in stature, must be applauded with gratitude for creating this great institution for our nation. All the others who worked with him for their sheer hard work, sweat and toil in building this hallowed institution from scratch must be commended. Having been selected for the MBA program in the mid-1980s, I was not able, unfortunately, to follow the course and become one of its proud alumni. But I guess I was lucky in a way, because Professor Nanayakkara offered me a faculty position in 2001, thereby giving me an opportunity, a very rare opportunity, to be a part of this great institution, the PIM. I have been influenced by Professor Nanayakkara in many positive ways. And in the period of nearly 3 years I spent at the PIM, I learned a great deal from my colleagues in the faculty, some of whom are here today, including the present director, Dr. Weerathunga, but I was also able to share my experiences in the public sector. The intellectual discourse that prevailed among the faculty between students and the faculty is unique, unparalleled. Coming back home, therefore, is a great reason for my intrinsic joy on this momentous occasion. Friends, it is difficult to think what one should be saying at a convocation. I think you must read the Harvard Commencement Speech 2008 by J.K. Rowling, the celebrated creator of Harry Potter, to understand the insights and the dynamics of preparing such an address. I'm going to read an extract of it so that I will be able to put my address this evening into the right context. I quote, "Delivering a commencement address is a great responsibility. Or so I thought until I cast my mind back to my own graduation. The commencement speaker that day was the distinguished British philosopher, Baroness Mary Warnock. Reflecting on her speech has helped me enormously in writing this one, because it turns out that I can't remember a single word she said. This liberating discovery enables me to proceed without any fear that I might inadvertently influence you to abandon promising careers in business, law, or politics for the giddy delights of becoming a gay wizard. You see, if all you remember in years to come is the gay wizard joke, I have still come out ahead of Baroness Mary Warnock," unquote. Well, I don't feel as helpless and helpless as J.K. Rowling. Dr. Weerathunga, in his customary style, has been very specific. The teacher in him came out when he gently suggested that I speak on management education and development. This has many connotations. Lest it's misunderstood, I am focusing how management education could and should contribute towards a country's development. I am treating this important topic in the context of a new era of national development and well-being, the dawn of which you and I have been fortunate enough to witness. You young ladies and gentlemen will go out into the world armed with a well-earned MBA, and one of you, a great friend of mine, with a PhD. A great majority of you are already well employed. Few of you, I am sure, are in the public sector. Development is not the sole prerogative of the government. Government is only the mainstream and the facilitator for development, because creating public goods of value is one of the government's prime responsibilities. We are at the threshold of a new era, having achieved what many in the world thought was invincible. We have now got to get together, put our minds together, and help the government to take Sri Lanka forward in a new direction, to a new destination, a destination that will characterize one nation, united and bound together in a sense of camaraderie and collegiality. Management education is of great importance because the knowledge, skills and attitude required for those managers in the national development process are so complex and multifaceted. It is only through a well-structured program, such as something that is being given in the PIM, that these could be imparted to budding managers both in the public and private sectors. Professor Narayan, I had to refer to him throughout my address, I'm sorry about it, through his well-compiled book, Managing in Sri Lanka, Problems and Prospects, has influenced in me my own thinking on this subject. He outlines a few home truths in his book, and I'm going to use them freely to build my argument. You as leaders and managers would play a key role in the determination of fundamental choices in the society. In your learning process, which I believe would not stop after your MBA studies, you certainly would have been exposed firstly to comprehend what these fundamental choices are, and secondly, to choose intelligently from among them. Fundamental choices, my dear friends, provide a basic framework for action and give direction to national and societal progress. Progress of a nation, a society, and at times a community, therefore depends on the choices you and I make. I believe you understand the gravity and the importance of your commitment in this process. Every time you make a choice, please remember it's a moment of truth. Having made a choice, the manager has to be efficient or productive in the implementation of the choice. It is here that you need organizations and their support. The manager has to use the organizational mechanism so that cost is minimized and time is used most productively in the achievement of results envisaged in the choice that you have made. Understanding of human behavior is of utmost importance because we use teams, groups, and individuals in different ways and combinations. We must use the best of technology, particularly IT, in the implementation of our choices. Communication is crucial. There are crucial conversations and crucial confrontations. You see a number of new books dedicated to these subjects today appearing in bookstores. Crucial conversations, my friends, are about disagreements. Two or more people, often having different opinions, don't know how to work through their differences, digress into silence or violence, and kill the free flow of ideas. Disagreements, poorly handled, lead to poor decisions, strained relationships, and eventually to disastrous results. Crucial confrontations, on the other hand, are about disappointments. Confrontations are made up of failed promises and missed expectations, and therefore comprise the very foundation of accountability. Questions like, why didn't you do what you were supposed to do, will be asked. Confrontations are complicated, prickly, and will keep you awake at nights. These end only when a solution is reached and both parties are motivated and are able to comply. Let me say a few words about implementation. As a nation, we have not shown excellence in this facet of management. In general, project implementation along with project management is a very weak area. The only example of excellence in this vital component comes from our armed forces, who without any doubt have done an excellent implementation of what they were expected to do. What were they expected to do? They were expected to eliminate armed terrorists from our soil. And that paid it before the expected time. Implementation is all about self-discipline and adhering to timelines and understanding the objectives you have set. Given the above, what should be the primary function of our management education and development? As I understand, the outcome of management education and development should be to develop leaders and managers with an objective mind, develop the analytical and innovative mind, enable them to understand strengths and weaknesses of the resources at one's command, develop the ability to make choices for system building, make them understand the innumerable complexities of human behavior, and empower them to use the best and state-of-the-art methods for implementation to take their organizations to the desired goal. As you know, managers with those abilities are rare. The job of management schools, therefore, has become exceedingly difficult. Whether in private or public sector, these new leaders who are before us will play leading roles in national development. For a moment, I want you to focus on development. Should development be interpreted only in terms of economic criteria and criteria for social justice, such as growth and distribution, or should it embody socio-cultural elements? In other words, should development also mean the promotion of certain socio-cultural values, for example, social cohesion? This has become more relevant and important than ever before. We are at the threshold of a new era of development and national integration. As our country's leader, His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, has emphasized during the last few weeks, some sections of our population will not be considered minorities hereafter, and all will be treated the same and in an equal manner. We have defeated terrorism and shown the world, if there is a will, there is a way. We are a nation that has stayed resilient throughout 26 years of barbaric terrorism, when large numbers of innocent civilians were killed by terrorists to create a backlash. Development in the new era has assumed not only new paradigms, but enormous proportions. Friends, managers in this new era will have to possess new knowledge and skills that will enable them to work across language and cultural barriers, comprehend subtle emotional vicissitudes of people, and above all, keep their eyes and ears open and hearts and minds attuned to create a healthy and a robust nation. Whether it is the private sector or the public sector, workplaces are permutations and combinations of very complex human behavior patterns. Every second you live your life, you need to be sharp, alert, and be with a great presence of mind. Self-awareness at all times is essential if you want to survive. This is also true for your home. You cannot take its inhabitants for granted and behave in any way you want. There are situations that need to be carefully assessed and right responses made to a multitude of stimuli. This is certainly no easy task. I want to share with you something relevant in this regard. What the 26th President of the United States, the famous Theodore Roosevelt, said on April 23, 1910 at the Sorbonne, titled "The Man in the Arena." I quote, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Unquote. My dear young friends, who have graduated today with a world-class MBA, are you prepared to enter that arena, to dare greatly, to know the great enthusiasms and the great devotions, and to spend yourself in a worthy cause? If you are, in the end you will also know the triumph of high achievement. That is the fulfillment of leadership. You cannot find that fulfillment by observing leaders from the sidelines or from the press box, high above the arena. You have no choice but to get in there and get your face marred by dust and sweat and blood. Your fulfillment comes not from money, the titles, the awards, or the recognition. These fleeting symbols of external gratification will vanish like thin air. What will remain are being passionate about helping other people, or putting right societal wrongs and making a difference in the world through your combined efforts. There is no satisfaction in your personal life, professional life, that can compare to this fulfillment. Friends, before I conclude, I want to leave a thought with you. Every day is a new day, but with a history. Every opportunity, an occasion to change the world. Every human being, a resource that can make things better. Every action, a chance to make the life of another meaningful. In conclusion, while wholeheartedly wishing all the recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy degree, Master of Business Administration degree, and the postgraduate diploma the very best in all your endeavors, let me be a little bit personal. I must say that it's once in a lifetime occasion for me to be invited to make the convocation address at the very convocation where my daughter is also graduating. A father cannot have a greater honor. Thank you, PIM, for the wonderful opportunity given to me. Thank you.